All right, everybody. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, AI. So, November 2022, OpenAI launched earth-shattering product called ChatGPT. And within a month, 100 million people had checked it out to see what this new generative AI thing could do. And really quickly, it started to affect what we do in an English classroom. People figured out pretty quickly that it can write, which meant that English teachers had to start thinking, teachers like me had to start thinking, well, what are we doing here? How can I kind of adapt to what's going on? Well, there's been a lot of different responses. There's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad to AI. But one of the things I realized really quickly, and maybe you agree with me, the whole purpose of what I was teaching in my English writing classes to begin with wasn't really about writing essays, though that was important. It was about teaching my students how to think critically, how to look at a source and determine whether they could trust it or not, how to figure out how to express an idea, how to develop an idea to express. I was teaching them critical thinking. I wasn't just trying to teach them how to write an essay. But a lot of students miss that, and maybe we weren't very good at explaining that. Now that it's so easy to have AI write an essay, I'm trying to put the emphasis on critical thinking again. And I think that's really what we need to do anyway. Let's talk about it. So, in a world where products like ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini or Perplexity or Claude or all the different AI products that are out there, in a world where you can just spend 30 seconds and they can write an essay for you, do we really need to know how to write an essay? And the answer is no. But writing an essay has never really been about the essay. It's always been about our ability to think through a situation and to express our conclusions, our thoughts, our feelings. And I don't think AI has replaced that need. In fact, that might be more important than ever. There's a lot of good things about AI, especially when it comes to writing. AI can help you to do research, and I use it for that. AI can help you to come up with ideas, and I use it for that. AI can help you to go find a source or to read something out of a text and to pull it out. It can do so many different things, and I use it for all those things. But it also kind of bypasses the thinking. If you are in a class and you're still developing some of these skills and talents and abilities, and it's not that we ever stop, but if you're still learning how to kind of think through something and then express it, it's the worst time to start offloading your thinking to a machine. Because when are you going to develop that skill yourself? Right? And that's something I've been really concerned about for my students, is if we get really comfortable with letting AI think for us, well, then what skills have we developed that are going to help us still be useful in a world where AI can do so much for us? And I've thought about that for years at this point, and I tell my students, we need to make sure we're developing our cognitive thinking, our human skills, so that we know how to use the AI, but we can also do those things that AI really doesn't do very well. It doesn't understand certain things about nuance so much yet. It's not as good at kind of figuring out why someone might do something. Those are very rhetorical things that people are really attuned to if you've developed those skills. And it doesn't have empathy. It can mimic feelings. It it can kind of make you feel like it cares. And like the AIs that I use, they remember so much about me and they make me feel really good about myself. But it's not the same as the person sitting across from you doing it. And I think that's what we can do in a world of AI. Develop those critical thinking skills so we still have that ability to think through a problem. Maybe we can use AI to speed up certain aspects of the process, but never really let go of the steering wheel. I started to teach this to some of my students, and I had one student ask a very good question. He's like, well, what happens if we don't develop those critical thinking skills? And I thought about it. And I was like, well, if we stop developing our critical thinking skills, we've accepted that whatever results the AI comes up with, we've stopped challenging ideas, which means we've kind of stopped steering. We've given control over to the machines we've developed. And that's a bit of a scary thought, because then we're just on for the ride. We're just here we've accepted that whatever conclusions another person, another force, or even a program decides for us. And I don't think that's really what we want either. So I think we need to keep our hands on the wheel. I think we need to stay in control. Yes, get help from AI. Use it to help you speed up, to go faster, if that's the metaphor that we want to use. But don't stop steering. Don't give up control. You want to stay in charge of this thing. It helps you keep ahead of what's coming next, but also gives you the opportunity to really develop how you express yourself, the tone, the words that you choose to use. And I think that's really going to start to distinguish and separate people going forward. A lot of people don't have confidence in their writing ability. You know, maybe they learned that in an English class where a teacher tore up their, gave them a lot of criticism. But this is an opportunity, I think, to really develop how we think about things, how we express those thoughts. And if we fail to do that, we've let control of the wheel. I don't think we want to do that. So in this world of AI, and it's going to be such an opportunity, but it presents challenges, like we've talked about. I think for now, what seems like the right attitude is really work on developing your critical thinking skills, really work on developing how you express yourself, whether that's in writing or it's like this. And we can't start coasting now. We can't give up. We can't, fizzle out when there could be so much momentum right now. So that's my encouragement to you, that this can be a great opportunity. I know that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I'm encouraging my students to do. So I hope that this helps kind of center you, that there's a lot of hope, there's a lot of possibility, but there's some things that I think we rightly should be concerned about. And let's keep talking about it. Thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Jacob Larson. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.